truly is a welcome sight after the very active, the very gloomy week we've just had in weather. Lots of sun being seen on our Queensgate cam, looking towards Paycor Stadium, which of course the Bengals not home this weekend. They'll be in Denver technically on Monday, but nevertheless looking better. Certainly a step in the right direction here with a little bit of warmer temperatures this afternoon in the upper 70s, rebounding quite nicely from the temperatures that we've been seeing not just this last week but also the weekend prior, in which we were tracking near 90-degree high temperatures for Saturday of this last weekend, whereas we're tracking something a little bit more normal. Right now temperatures are in the low 70s here in Cincinnati and in southwest Ohio, a little bit cooler south of the river, in the upper 60s, where we just can't seem to quite shake the 60s. But again, fog was the reason why we had a first alert weather day earlier today. Perfect 10s on the board, happy to report. That first alert weather day technically did end at 10 o'clock this morning. It's looking 100% better at this point in time. Take a look here, your Mount Auburn cam, just a little bit of yellow, orange, greenish treetops out there with the stress because of the drought that has settled on in, but the rain that we got this last week certainly puts us in the right direction. Temperatures again in the low 70s. Humidity is still a little high. It's not 100% comfortable outside. We're not seeing incredibly dry air, so just keep that in mind if you're heading out to the high school football games tonight, in which we are tracking just a little bit of humidity. Temperatures in the 70s though, so it's not going to make anything too, it's not going to make the heat feel any worse. 70s for 7 o'clock kickoff, 60s by the end of the game with mostly clear skies. Yeah, not too bad at all. Here's your weekend forecast. In a glimpse, upper 70s, lower 80s, mostly sunny to sunny. That's what you get. I mean, if you're trying to get ahead of the fall activities, maybe you're wanting to get the yards all cleaned up and all put back together from the active week that we just had in weather. The weekend, unfortunately, there's no excuses to not get it done with how nice it's going to be, especially in the evenings with temperatures dropping into the low 70s. I do want to give you the first alert that on Saturday morning, tomorrow morning, maybe just a little bit of fog in the morning, just not as impactful as Friday morning's commute. But if you're heading out to the Zero Prostate Run Walk that's taking place at Sawyer Point and Yateman's Cove, temperatures in the morning going to be in the 50s. And because we're able to cool down pretty nicely in the mornings, that's why we're able to see some fog developing. The humidity is to blame. By the late morning, the skies open up some more, temperatures back in the low 70s, and then eventually, like I just showed you, temperatures near 80 degrees. And both days entirely dry. Again, no excuses to not take care of the lawns and gardens ahead of this upcoming week's rain chances, which are very small, but they're still there. We do want to give you that first alert that showers and storms are trying to get close to the Ohio Valley as soon as Tuesday and Wednesday afternoons. Yes, and that has everything to do with this, the tropics. The tropics. I know, if you think about it, we have had lots of impact from past tropical systems. We just haven't seen it this year quite yet, but yeah, we're going to see a little bit of an impact from Humberto and soon to be a different tropical storm that is yet to develop. So we've got the remnants of Gabrielle far east, away from us. It's heading east as well. We're not worried about her. We're not too worried about Humberto too, though it's going to get pretty close. And Humberto is going to try to nudge, and soon to be Imelda, closer to the east coast here, which some models are forecasting landfall in the Carolinas with soon to be Imelda. We'll let you know as soon as that news breaks, if we were to see a tropical storm, which is very high confidence that we will within the next day or so. So we got two systems. On the left side, soon to be Imelda. On the right side, Hurricane Humberto. Watch the weather timeline here. This is Saturday. Sunday, they both kind of move north-northwest. Imelda's getting close to the Carolinas at this point. Here's Monday morning, starting to see the rain in the Carolinas. How about Tuesday? Well, that's when we're forecasting not only landfall in the South Carolinas, but also the rains in the clouds the very northern edge of this tropical system. It's going to barely clip southern Ohio. So it's a chance for rain. It's going to be spotty to scattered at best, and we're not seeing too much of an impact here, but it's still our next best chance for rain. So that's going to be Tuesday and Wednesday of next week here in your 7 to 10 day forecast, in which we do have just a little bit of heat creeping back into the tri-state. That is going to be kind of the name of the game this weekend with the dry time here. At least it's not going to be the heat of this last Saturday. Yeah, this last Saturday we hit 89 in Cincinnati. That's much warmer than we're supposed to be for this time of year, but nevertheless, heading into this upcoming week, then the story does become the chance for rain. Very low chance, but it is still there. And sometimes the models don't handle tropical systems incredibly well. So it's just something that you'll want to keep checking back with us here at 19. We'll give you that first alert every step of the way. That's going to keep temperatures a little bit cooler by Wednesday of next week. We're talking highs in the low 70s for the afternoons, mornings in the 50s starting on Thursday and lasting until next weekend, in which we are tracking not only a UC home game, the Bengals are back in town, and so are the middle to low 70s. But a lot of that has to do with how these 2 days play out, Tuesday and Wednesday. Chances for showers southeast of Cincinnati, not a widespread impact from what I'm seeing now, but if anything changes, you guys will be the first to know. I'm not seeing any questions here in our comments, so let's go ahead and talk about fall foliage, shall we? Because we kind of brushed up on this yesterday on 19 at noon, but this map here, it's compiled, the data's compiled by our partners at Explore Fall, who creates this file that's shared with us here at 19. It's updated on Thursdays and on Mondays. So this is the update as of yesterday. Let me show you the whole country to kind of walk you through it, because some of us in the United States, not us here locally, are already seeing peak fall color. Isn't that so exciting? All the fall people are like, oh my gosh, it's almost here. We still got a good chunk of time here in the tri-state. Average fall, peak fall color for us here isn't until late October, but that's probably going to be a little earlier this year just because of the drought that's settled on it. We saw it last year. We're seeing it right now in this year too. But taking a look here, fall foliage, the higher altitudes will see the color changes first. That just makes sense because the cold is getting colder, which means it's basically freezing in some parts in the very upper levels. As far as mountains go, you kind of see that in the Rockies, and you actually, oops, wrong space bar. You actually see it in the Appalachian Mountains too, out towards West Virginia. You have near peak color out in West Virginia. Patchy color here in the Buckeye State, but yeah, nothing here. At least nothing that's reliable saying, hey, the leaves are turning because fall is here. We're not seeing that. I mean, we haven't seen elongated fall temperatures yet here in Cincinnati, as proven by the really warm weekend we had just last weekend. That is normal. This is normal. What's not normal is, I'm going to show you Mount Auburn one more time. The tops, the treetops, and perhaps entire trees in your neck of the woods are already yellow. They're already brown, and it's because we haven't had a whole lot of rain in the month of September. Of course, we gathered that rain over the last 3 or 4 days, and so it'll help stunt the leaves turning color. But unfortunately, the leaves that have already died, you can't exactly like re-water those. They're already dead. So the browns will stay brown through the rest of fall into winter. They'll fall down on the ground. They'll do their fall things. Yeah. That's your fall color update. Nothing else really going on in the world of weather other than that. We talked about the tropics. Let's give you a first alert one more time on what early October is going to be looking like, which it's more of the same. Temperatures a little bit warmer than average, but remember, average as we step into October is going to be low 70s. So maybe we're talking temperatures in the middle 70s, maybe the upper 70s if we're feeling extra warm, but yeah, I mean, it's not going to be the 90s stepping into October, more than likely. At least we're not seeing extended confidence in that forecast. Just want to let you guys know that maybe those crisp fall mornings aren't going to be as immediate as October is, which, can you believe October's in this 7 to 10 day forecast? I know I said this yesterday, but I'm still in disbelief about it. That's Wednesday in this 7-day forecast, and that's the day that we feel a little bit back to normal with the temperatures. It comes at a little bit of a rainy cost, of course. We mentioned and talked about how the tropics are going to impact our rain chances for Tuesday and Wednesday of next week, and also our cloud cover too. And it's going to be pulling in some cooler air from the northeast around the tropical system. So we're going to be seeing a northerly wind for Wednesday, Thursday, even into next weekend. It really just depends on how long we hold on to that northerly wind, that we hold on to the low 70s, and eventually maybe something a little bit warmer. And that's just because I'm not seeing any substantial cold fronts to kick down those temperatures any further than they already have gotten. Okay. Jeff's tuning in this afternoon. He says, good afternoon, I'm ready for my snow. Oh my gosh, I wish I had my Post-it note, because I was looking at the average first snowfalls of the year, measurable snowfalls. And here in Cincinnati, the average as far as the earliest measurable snowfall goes, technically isn't until November 24th. Keep in mind, that's measurable snowfall. That doesn't include the tiny little flakes that you might see falling like in late October, early November. No, this is the first fall or snowfall that you're actually able to get a measurement from. A lot of times the early season snowfalls, Jeff, will be so light that they're not measurable. So it's hard to get a gauge on the first snowfall of the season unless you're actually taking a look at the measurable data. Tommy's tuning in, temperature coming down nice and slow, I don't mind. Yeah, no big temperature differences. Usually when we do see big temperature swings, Tommy, it's because we're seeing a lot of activity out there in the atmosphere, so storms, winds. We're not seeing either of those. We saw this last week, so we're settling on into something a lot more quiet into your weekend and into next week too. If anything changes, you guys will be the first to know, of course. And no other questions coming in this Friday afternoon. So that means I'm going to go ahead and sign off of here. I'll have the latest information you got on your weekend forecast for you guys coming up this afternoon on Fox 19 at 3 o'clock. But for now, signing off here in Queensgate, I'm meteorologist Erin Ashley. Have a great rest of your Friday and happy weekend.